Okay, it wasn't online on YouTube. Okay, so here we go. Yeah, actually, in the 5th class, it started getting complicated for me. So I actually lost the, the interest a bit in school. I don't know why. It started being a bit annoying. And so I didn't do too bad, to be honest. I could have gone to university, which I didn't do in the end, but I could have. But actually, I was a bit annoyed about school. Yeah. And I don't know how that experience were for you guys, but recently or over the last years, I learned a lot about learning. Yeah. And there's something that is really important to know. Once you know these little facts about learning, studying, getting information into your forehead, things you can actually do something with in life. Yeah, there are some very, very vital information everybody should have, because hi Taha, nice to see you. Because some of us think that we are a bit stupid sometimes, like, for example, it's just an example. I had chemistry in school and I didn't get anything. I didn't know what it was all about. All these formulas and stuff we did in chemistry was just, I don't know. I was looking around and just wondering why anybody understood something, because I didn't, So tonight, I can definitely show you what happened, and it will surprise you. So, Yassine, you're very welcome. Somebody who thanks me to speak English. That's very nice. Sometimes people are complaining a bit, and somebody's asking why English. I can answer that in German. Wir haben hier ein englisches Webinar um 18:30 Uhr. Um 19:30 Uhr sind wir wieder live auf Deutsch. Yeah. So sorry for that little interruption. So today, I'd like to give you some more information. It's Jenny, willst du sonst deine Kamera, das lenkt mich ab, wenn du lachst. Da war doch irgendwas. Ich gucke dann da hin und denke, was ist denn da los? Wieso lachst du denn gerade und so? Was ist denn? Dann macht die Kamera aus und stört mich das nur. Okay, danke. Okay, so, also, und zwar, so this is actually for everyone who still want to learn something in life. Yeah, this is really, really important stuff, because once you stop learning, nothing will ever change. So Yassine is asking, what are you mainly talking about? I will tell you tonight a basic principle about learning that will definitely boost your ability to learn, to grab information and to understand more, learn faster, become better in anything you want. So, yep, really, it helped me a lot. That's why I'm sitting here doing this webinar. So I start, okay? So please listen. Whenever you have questions, just pop it into the chat, and then I can definitely show you, yeah, the answer to it, or just, try to explain it a bit better and give you some examples. Okay, cool. So why study? The first little gate that has to be open to embark upon study is the willingness to know. If that gate remains closed, then one is liable to get into such things as a total memorized word for word system of education, which will not result in the gain of knowledge. Such a system only produces graduates who can possibly parrot back facts, but without any real understanding or ability to do anything with what they have been taught. So, and if you remember what happened in school, I think we all have adapted this method of memorization and parrot-like repeating things word by word without thinking for ourselves, and definitely most of the time without a complete understanding of what we are memorizing there. You know, just as an example, I got trained in school to read text in French, and actually I couldn't really understand what I'm reading, but I learned how to pronounce these words so I could actually read loudly, you know, and yeah, I didn't get anything in French. So not really a cool system. And Yassine says, well, I think repetition is important. Depends, Yassine. If you repeat something, you understand, you fully understand, then I think there's only a little need to do that repetition. Like, for example, if you know what a table is, if you know what you use a table for, you know, if you have seen a table already, you don't need to repeat, oh, that's a table, that's a table, that's a table. Yeah, no, you just know what a table is. And once you have understood a concept or something completely, you just know it. Yeah, so everything you know, I know it's most of these things are nothing you have just memorized. Yeah, it's something you truly understood. And this is what I'm talking about tonight. It's the difference between memorizing things for an exam, for example, yeah, to write a good exam, or to understand things you can actually apply in life, things that actually make you smarter and not become a parrot, you know. So, okay, so just listen and you might actually get some new ideas about this whole concept of learning. So, for what purpose then does one study? Until you clarify that, you cannot make an intelligent activity out of it. So the question was, why study? Yeah? Why study? For what purpose then does one study? Until you clarify that, you cannot make an intelligent activity out of it. Some students study for examination. The student is thinking to himself, how will I repeat this back when I'm asked a certain question? Or how will I pass the examination? That is complete folly, but unfortunately is what many students have done in the university. I hope that makes sense to you. Yeah, that if you just study something to pass an exam, you won't learn something you can apply. Yeah, you just memorize something to repeat when you get examinated. But yeah, so let's see who's coming in here on Zoom. And what else do we have? So So that was the first part about why study. Yeah, first of all, we need to know why we are studying something. And with studying, I actually mean all the learning things you do, like you observe something, you examine something, you read stuff about something. Yeah, so I just call that to study. That doesn't actually mean you need to go to university to study. No, you can study, I don't know, trees or whatever you like. Hi, David. So, okay. Let's see. So, okay. So somehow I just changed my view here. I try to change it back. Sometimes it's a bit confusing, to be honest. This Zoom app here. Okay. So that was it. Okay, cool. So let's see. Why study? And the next thing I'm reading to you is still about why we study. So instead of looking at data, so all this information, instead of looking at data and thinking, is this going to be on the exam? One would do much better to ask oneself, how can I apply this material, or how can I really use it? By doing this, a person will get much more out of what he studies and will be able to put what he studies to actual use. Okay, David, I don't know what you're doing with your camera, but I'm about to switch it off, to be honest. So yeah, just to give you a little notice here. Okay, so yeah, good, thank you. Okay, barriers of study is the next thing I'd like to read to you. Okay. Oh no, actually we can also cover something else before, and this is called the student who knows all about it. Yeah, if you ever try to learn something but you actually had the idea you knew everything about it already, you might get into trouble. So this is what I'm reading to you now. On the subject of learning itself, the first datum, the first piece of knowledge to learn and the primary obstacle to overcome is you cannot study a subject if you think you know all about it to begin with. A student who thinks he knows all there is to know about a subject will not be able to learn anything in it. A person might already be familiar with a subject from previous experience and, having had success in that field, now has the idea that he knows all about it. If such a person then took a course in that subject, he would be studying through a screen of, I know all about it. With that obstacle in the way, one can become completely bogged down in his studies and not make forward progress. This is true for a student of any subject. If one can decide that he does not already know everything about a subject and can say to himself, here is something to study, let's study it, he can overcome this obstacle and be able to learn. This is a very, very important datum for any student, a very important information for any student. If he understands this and applies it, the gateway to knowledge is wide open to him. So, and now we are looking at the barriers of study. Yeah. Okay, so being a successful student requires more than just a willingness to learn. Pitfalls do exist, and students must know how to effectively learn in order to overcome them. It has been discovered that there are 3 definite barriers which can block a person's ability to study and thus his ability to be educated. These barriers actually produce different sets of physical and mental reactions. So let's have a look at these barriers of study. So for somebody who went to school or even went to university, the first thing is it's quite difficult to understand that there are only 3 barriers that actually stop you from understanding something you're trying to learn. And tonight, I will show you the most important barrier and how to overcome it. And if you apply that, you were asking Yasin, how to apply this knowledge, but you can actually apply what I'm going to tell you tonight, and then you can find out for yourself if it actually helps you or not. David, by the way, thanks for turning off your camera. That's really nice. I hope you enjoy the show tonight. Yeah. Okay, cool. So how is everybody? Like, you're still fine and you're still with me? You're still interested in knowing more about this biggest barrier there is in regards to learning, to studying? Okay, so we go to the most important barrier that stops you from understanding something you're trying to learn. Okay, here, basically I'm reading, oops, sorry, my post-it is still on it. I'm reading from a little booklet, which is called The Technology of Study, written by L. Ron Hubbard. And here we have the article, which is called, that is called The Misunderstood Word. The third and most important barrier to study is the misunderstood word. A misunderstood word is a word which is not understood or wrongly understood. Okay, you need to keep that in mind. That's very important. Yeah. Once you hear me saying the term misunderstood word, it actually means this. A misunderstood word is a word which is not understood or wrongly understood. Then you have a misunderstood word, right? Okay, so here it says, going on past a word that was not understood gives one a distinctly blank feeling or a washed out feeling, a not there feeling, and a sort of nervous hysteria, that's excessive anxiety. So a not there feeling and a sort of nervous hysteria, excessive anxiety can follow that. Isn't that interesting already? Like when you look at how you usually feel while you're trying to learn something, yeah? How do you usually feel? Like, I know that from many students, they tell me, yeah, I need to concentrate and I have concentration problems, you know, it's very hard to just put my attention on something and keep it there for a longer period of time. And Yeah, I can definitely understand. Ah, yeah, David, here we go. I was waiting for that. Okay. Okay, so good. I was prepared this time. So that's a guy who's always coming in to distract us, but I knew it was him. So yeah, I just wanted to be sure. Okay, so what are you telling me here on, okay, so TikTok, yeah, I only answer questions who are relevant to what we are talking about tonight here, and that's about how to improve your learning skills, right? Okay, so the confusion or inability to grasp or learn comes after a word that the person did not have defined or understood. I'll give it to you again. It's very important. Yeah. The confusion or inability to learn, the confusion or inability to grasp or learn comes after a word that the person did not have defined or understood. The misunderstood word is much more important than the other two barriers. The misunderstood word establishes aptitude and lack of aptitude. This is what psychologists have been trying to test for years without recognizing what it was. This is all that many study difficulties go back to. Studying past misunderstood words produces such a vast range of mental effects that it itself is the prime factor involved with stupidity and many other unwanted conditions. If a person didn't have misunderstood words, his talent might or might not be present, but his doingness in that subject would be present. And to be honest, when I read that for the very first time, I didn't get it. I didn't understand what this meant until, yeah. So this is my just most, the best example I have to explain what happens when you have misunderstood words. A misunderstood word is a word which is not understood or wrongly understood, right? So, and in the past, when I was a bit younger, I didn't like cooking. I just couldn't do it, you know. I tried to. I was studying recipes and I did everything step by step, what was written in that recipe. So I tried to concentrate and do everything correctly. And then at some point I got stressed and, you know, something was burning. And something didn't work out. And so in the end, there was something to eat, but I doubt that it tasted very good. So at least it was hot most of the time. So this was my, the quality of the food which I cooked. And funny enough, I was able to bake. I could make cakes. I didn't know why, what the difference was, but I couldn't cook. So it's quite funny, that story, isn't it? So as a woman, that can bring you into troubles. It makes you look like, I don't know, like somebody who's not able to have a family or something. So, okay. What happened is later on in my life, I had an education about health food. So I was the manager of an organic supermarket, actually of 2 organic supermarkets within 2 years. And so I had to go to school again. I had to pass 2 exams. Yeah. And in that field, and what I did is, because I've studied this little booklet before, so I was a bit smarter that time. and I cleared a lot of words. To clear up a word means you get the right definition. I will show you how to clear words in a minute, yeah? But what happened in that field of food and cooking? I wasn't able to cook before, but after I cleared all these words, which were related to food somehow, I was able to cook. And from there on, I started cooking, and now it's quite all right, actually. So, and this is what happens here. What happened is here, he says, studying past misunderstood words produces such a vast range of mental effects that it itself is a prime factor involved with stupidity, and many other unwanted conditions. If a person didn't have misunderstood words, his talent might or might not be present, but his doingness in that subject would be present. So after, clearing all these misunderstood words, which I had before, obviously, because I couldn't cook, caused that I started cooking. And now, whenever I cook for somebody else, these people are quite pleased with what they get. So, yeah, okay. I take this as a compliment. Okay, good. So, here's some more what happens to you when you go past a word you do not fully understand, okay? When a student misses understanding a word, the section right after that word is a blank in his memory. I give that to you again because I think we all have that when we are reading, yeah, more or less, but we all have that, okay? When a student misses understanding a word, the section right after that word is a blank in his memory. You can always trace back to the word just before the blank, get it understood, and find miraculously that the former blank area is not now blank in the material you are studying. This is pure magic. Have you ever had the experience of coming to the end of a page and realizing you didn't know what you had read? Somewhere earlier on that page, you went past a word that you had no definition for or an incorrect definition for. Here's an example. It was found that when the crepuscule arrived, the children were quieter, and when it was not present, they were much livelier. What happens is you think you do not understand the whole idea, but the inability to understand comes entirely from the one word you could not define, crepuscule, which means twilight or darkness. So, and now I will read that same sentence to you again, yeah, and then you can see the difference, hopefully. Okay, I didn't know what the meaning of that word is before, but I looked it up, obviously. So I give it to you again, okay? So keep that in mind. Crepuscule means twilight or darkness. So here's the example. It was found that when the crepuscule arrived, the children were quieter, and when it was not present, they were much livelier. Okay, now the sentence makes sense to you, right? Okay, so cool. And there is some more about clearing words. So what we've learned right now is actually that you should never go past a word you do not fully understand. Never, never, never. Yeah. If you don't want to have blank spaces in your mind, if you want to understand what you're trying to learn, you should actually look up every word you do not fully understand. And if you read a sentence that doesn't make any sense to you, there has to be at least one word or symbol you do not fully understand. Yeah. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Just try to apply it next time you read something. And once you notice that this sentence you just read doesn't make any sense to you, go back, yeah, find the word or symbol you do not fully understand and get a definition, and not just one definition, but the correct definition that makes sense, yeah, in that sentence. So, and yeah, once you do that, learning becomes something that is really rewarding, yeah, because you actually understand almost everything. I mean, I'm just telling you the first of the three barriers. Hello, Camille on Insta. Thank you for saying hello. Very nice, you're watching. And so basically, when you just, what did I wanted to say? Like, yeah, you actually, once you apply what is written in this little booklet, The Technology of Study, which I love so much, once you apply that, learning becomes a totally different subject from what you did at school or university. I'm very sure about that. Yeah, learning really becomes something that you know how to do, and you know it will result in something you can use in life, you know, in your everyday life, at work, whatever. But it's just nothing anymore to pass an exam, to memorize, to repeat word by word things you do not fully understand. That doesn't make any sense at all. At least not to me, you know, whatever you might think about it. But, you know, if you want to have a good exam, by the way, the education I did when I was a bit older already about the health food, yeah, I had an examination and at the, how do you call it? The, I'm just looking for the English term. I'm a bit too excited. Otherwise, I would know how to say that. It's a quite important organization in Germany that is dealing with all the traders. Yeah. So I had to pass 2 exams with them, and to earn a title, yeah, to get my certificate. In German, we are very, you know, excited about certificates. And actually, just because I applied everything that is explained in this little booklet, it's quite thin, yeah. I passed the exam as the best, yeah, verbally and in writing. So I've never been the best in school apart from arts. When we were painting, like in primary school or something, and I was always the best. But later on, yeah, it got a bit more difficult, especially in French and chemistry. Okay, good. So here's some more. Thank you, Camille, for the compliment. I appreciate that very much. Thank you. So clearing words. Now I show you, yeah, a bit more about why it's important to clear up a word. A misunderstood word will remain misunderstood until one clears the meaning of the word. Makes sense, huh? Once the word is fully understood by the person, it is said to be cleared. The procedures used to locate and clear up words the student has misunderstood in his studies are called word clearing. The first thing to learn is the exact procedure to clear any word or symbol one comes across in reading or studying that he does not understand. So, and in this little booklet, you will not only find the 3 main barriers to understanding. Yeah. If you, I don't know, some people, for me, it was a misunderstood word, the word technology. At least in German, I had a misunderstood word. So technology is applied knowledge. Yeah, the techniques you use, which are based on a specific type of knowledge you have in a specific field. So, and so here we have a real technology. You have methods you can apply, and they always work the same way. And it's brilliant, you know, once you realize it really works, you can use that knowledge, and studying becomes something very, very pleasant and rewarding. And you can actually improve your skills with it. Yeah. Things you were not able to understand in school. For example, what I did in chemistry, which I didn't understand at all, yeah, in school. So I cleared up the 3 most basic words, including the word chemistry. I actually did that. It sounds so simple, but I had to do it. I didn't know the meaning of the word chemistry. So I was sitting there in the classroom, like totally like, okay, I don't know where I am, but somehow I'm here and I'm breathing. I didn't know what the teacher was talking about. Okay, so yeah, I cleared the word chemistry and 2 more words, and then very basic words, yeah, fundamental words. And then I was actually, it was actually very easy to understand what chemistry is all about. So, yeah, whatever you do in life, yeah, whenever you come across something you do not fully understand, look for that misunderstood word, a word you don't have any definition for, or the word you have a wrong definition for. So that's my message for tonight. There is a lot to know about word clearing. You can help anyone to study any subject if you know what's written in that little booklet. We are not stupid. We are not too stupid to learn. We just never knew how to learn. That's the main problem. Yeah. So I want to say thank you for everybody who was listening tonight. And so, yeah, just come back next week, same time, 6:30 p.m. And we will be live on English. Thanks, Andreas, for watching. It's really nice. And yeah, thank you for everyone who were watching on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. Thank you, and have